Keir Starmer's Labour government is facing growing fury from Britain's wealthiest citizens and business leaders as it pushes ahead with tax reforms that could drive millionaires and businesses out of the country. With plans to dismantle the non-dom tax regime and increase taxes on high earners, the government is walking a dangerous line. Critics argue that these policies, championed by Prime Minister Keir Starmer and Chancellor Rachel Reeves, are anti-business and could result in an economic disaster. The wealth exodus has already begun, with high-profile figures like Charlie Mullins, founder of Pimlico Plumbers, leading the charge to escape Labour's tax grip. The brewing storm over these tax policies hit a boiling point recently when Mullins, dubbed Britain's richest plumber, appeared on GB News in a fiery interview with Jacob Rees-Mogg. In the interview, Mullins didn't hold back, accusing Labour of despising wealthy people and warning that Starmer and Reeves are on a fast track to bankrupt Britain. They're socialists, and they seem to have a plan to bankrupt Britain very quickly, Mullins declared, pointing out that Labour's tax agenda is driving away the country's wealth creators. Mullins has already relocated to Marbella, Spain, where he has expanded his business interests. He was very clear in his message: he won't be coming back to the UK while Labour is in power. "I've gone to Spain, as you know, and I will not be coming back while Labour are in power," Mullins said, adding that the UK needs to offer incentives for people to stay, not higher taxes. His words reflect a growing concern among business owners and high-net-worth individuals who are already taking steps to shield themselves from Labour's tax raids. Mullins, who built a multi-million-pound business from scratch, creating jobs and wealth for the UK economy, expressed deep frustration at the government's approach. "I've done my part," he said, pointing to his decades of contributions to the UK system. "They are driving us out. Should I be staying to fight? The answer is no, because it's a losing battle." The frustration among business owners like Mullins is palpable, and it's raising alarm bells across the UK's economic landscape. The Labour government has pledged to crack down on the so-called non-dom tax status, a measure that allows UK residents whose permanent home is abroad to pay tax only on the so-called non-dom tax status, money they earn in the UK. The party argues that the non-dom status is outdated and unfair, allowing the ultra-wealthy to dodge taxes while the rest of the country pays its fair share. However, critics warn that scrapping the non-dom regime could drive Britain's wealthiest citizens and businesses out of the country, costing the UK far more in lost tax revenue than it stands to gain. Chancellor Rachel Reeves is set to announce the details of Labour's tax changes in the upcoming budget, with plans to abolish the non-dom regime high on the agenda. Labour insists that these changes are necessary to address inequality and ensure that the wealthy pay their fair share. But many in the business community see this as a short-sighted move that risks alienating the very people who keep the UK economy afloat. During his interview with Jacob Rees-Mogg, Mullins also hinted at moving more of his business operations out of the UK, potentially to Dubai, a country with a far more favourable tax regime. "I wish I wasn't leaving," Mullins said, expressing his reluctance to leave the UK behind. "But if they make it too difficult, I'll move my business to Dubai." His comments reflect a growing trend among Britain's wealthiest individuals, many of whom are looking for tax havens to protect their assets from Labour's tax raids. Mullins's departure has sparked widespread debate, with many warning that his decision could set off a chain reaction, leading to an exodus of millionaires and billionaires from the UK. Nigel Farage, a vocal critic of the Labour government, weighed in on the issue, blasting Starmer and Reeves for their anti-business policies. Farage warned that Labour's tax plans could cause irreparable damage to the UK economy as the wealthy flee to more tax-friendly countries. "They are punishing the people who create wealth, jobs and prosperity," Farage said, accusing Labour of waging a war on the wealthy. "This isn't about fairness, it's about punishing success," he added, warning that Labour's tax raids could have catastrophic consequences for the UK economy. Farage's concerns are shared by many in the business community, who fear that Labour's tax changes will drive away investment and leave Britain worse off. The Treasury has attempted to reassure the business community, with officials promising to replace the non-dom system with a new internationally competitive residence-based regime, but the damage may already be done. Financial advisors and tax experts are reporting a surge in inquiries from clients looking to move their wealth offshore before Labour's tax changes come into effect. The uncertainty surrounding Labour's tax policies is creating a climate of fear, with many business owners taking preemptive steps to protect their assets. The debate over Labour's tax policies comes at a critical time for the UK economy. With inflation soaring and the country still recovering from the economic fallout of the COVID-19 pandemic, the last thing the UK needs is for its wealthiest citizens to leave. The loss of tax revenues from non-DOMs and high-net-worth individuals could create a significant shortfall in the government's budget, forcing the Labour government to either raise taxes further or cut public services. Critics of Labour's tax policies argue that scrapping the non-DOM regime is a dangerous gamble that could backfire spectacularly. They point to the fact that non-DOMs contribute billions of pounds to the UK economy each year, not just through taxes, but also through their investments in businesses and property. Driving these individuals out of the country, they warn, could have a devastating effect on the UK's financial sector and wider economy. Charlie Mullins isn't the only wealthy individual to voice concerns about Labour's tax policies. A growing number of business leaders and high-net-worth individuals are speaking out, warning that Labour's tax raids could trigger a mass exodus of the wealthy from Britain. With the budget looming, many are waiting anxiously to see just how far Labour is willing to go in its quest to tax the rich. Mullins' message to Keir Starmer and Rachel Reeves was clear: "You're driving us out." His warning should serve as a wake-up call to the Labour government, which risks alienating the very people who contribute the most to the UK economy. As Mullins pointed out, once the wealthy leave, there won't be anything left to tax. Rachel Reeves, for her part, has been unapologetic about Labour's tax policies, insisting that they are necessary to address inequality and ensure that the wealthy contribute more to society. She has dismissed concerns about a mass exodus of millionaires as scaremongering, arguing that the UK remains an attractive place to do business despite Labour's tax changes. But for business owners like Charlie Mullins, the writing is on the wall. The UK's tax system is becoming increasingly hostile to wealth, and unless something changes, more and more of Britain's millionaires will follow Mullins out of the country. In the meantime, the UK economy is bracing for the fallout from Labour's tax raids. The upcoming budget could be a turning point, either calming fears in the business community or accelerating the flight of wealth from Britain. For now, all eyes are on Keir Starmer and Rachel Reeves as they prepare to unveil their tax plans. Will Labour's gamble pay off, or will it lead to economic disaster? One thing is certain: the wealthy are watching closely, and they won't hesitate to leave if the tax burden becomes too heavy. The future of Britain's economy hangs in the balance, and Labour's next move could determine whether the country prospers or falls into financial ruin. Charlie Mullins' departure is just the beginning. If Labour doesn't change course, the UK could face a mass exodus of its wealthiest citizens, leaving the country poorer in more ways than one. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and stay tuned for more political updates. It was John. See you on the next episode.